the salon industry still has so many unanswered questions. With 1 out of every 4 salon professionals identifying as LGBTQIA+, creating a safe space for your team is essential. This also holds true for your clients, where studies show that 93% of LGBTQIA+ community members have been misgendered in the salon. My name is Lori Obazinski. I'm the Director of Sales and Business Development here at Rosie Salon Software, and I am excited to be here with Janet from Janet St. Paul Studio for Hair and Beauty, which is based in Austin, Texas. So welcome, Janet, and thank you so much for being here and spending some time with us.
I'm happy. Thank you so much for inviting us for this conversation. We really look forward to it, Lori. We love you guys as a partner.
You have so many really great things going on in your salon and ways that you've contributed into your community. So I'm excited to hear some of this stuff from you in this conversation. So just to get started, you guys have a salon mission, which is to empower every individual that you encounter. So just tell us about that.
So, it's funny. In my 51st year of life, I kind of get to this spot that it's so much bigger than just people coming and having beauty services, right? I think in a time where people have been kind of starved of contact and communication, starved from extended families, starved from seeing friends, I think human contact in our industry has been the number one kind of soft healing spot to start. Right? And what I really feel is 100% true is that every person deserves the right to feel loved, whether they love themselves or they have love from people in their life. That is the number one. For my age, I am also gay. I'm married to my wife. I feel that finding your true path and people that resonate for you is what it's all about. So in our part of our mission statement is that we want everyone to feel included, because we don't get enough of that in the outside world often, right? I mean, I think the biggest thing is it's around inclusiveness on age, sexuality. These things do not have to define people. They're not the end all be all. And even I had to question and understand a little bit about former belief and suspend it a little to understand a little bit more, right? Around non-binary and just even like know what it is. I am of a generation where it isn't like a common speak for me. And so I had to learn a little bit, but I was happy to learn about it. And I was happy to try to understand it. And then I started following different podcasters, and some of the history around it is fascinating. Sidebar, in Spain, a little bit off the track, but in Spain, men started wearing heels in the late 16, early 1700s, I think.
Wow.
Because it helped them stay in their stirrups. Okay. I was like, okay, who knew? When we start suspending some of our beliefs, it becomes a little more tangible and easier to understand. I won't even get into personal and religious perspectives. I'm just talking socially. How do we get to a spot on a whole and a business where we say, however you want to be, if that makes you feel good, let's make it the best. And that's where I think we need to come from as a group. And I feel really proud of our team because they're just completely open and nothing really is bother around that, which is so great, right? And that's what I feel really proud about. But making people feel good when they look in the mirror, it's the best gift you can give them because it's so subtle and simple. It's not like this big visit to like a makeover or, I think this is going to be funny, but I think that's why Queer Eye has such traction. It's like spirit meets the physical meets the alignment of like everything that you could potentially be, what you might want to reach and want. I mean, it's just like, so when somebody sits in front of the mirror and you help them feel good about themselves and they get to leave with that, you know, I could go to a restaurant with friends and feel good, but then we leave and I'm like, it's over. The beauty is that people get to take this home and like live it and be in it and continue feeling good. And I think there's not enough of that in the world, you know, across the board.
There's such a power of being behind the chair, being able to provide that for somebody else, which is huge.
It's what I love about what we do. Literally. And you know what? I'll tell you something, Lori, no matter what age or person you interview, when you talk to a stylist in an interview and you say like, why'd you get into this? Like, how did you become a stylist? Number one thing is I love to make people feel good.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
It is so addicting. And like an easy high that's healthy. Why wouldn't you want to spread that, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this will take me right into my next question though, because for like us who we live in a salon, we're used to it. We go there every day. We know the ins and outs, everything. But for an average customer or client, it's intimidating already for them to walk into a brand new salon that they've never been to before. They don't know the people. Everybody looks great and everybody's hair is really done. It's intimidating. So
some days.
Most days. So especially if they already have a fear of being judged for who they are as a person, right? How does Janet St. Paul Studio Salon make people feel welcome when they're walking in to your business opposed to anywhere else or any other type of business? Just knowing that this is outside of somebody's average comfort zone.
Yeah, good point. So, you know, I think the biggest thing is training and talking to staff, right? Having a communication and a dialogue about, we forget, like, this is our home. We're here all the time, nonstop, 24/7, 5 days a week, but still, like, we do training on the side. We come in early for meetings. We have staff meetings. We have like educational seminars on Mondays. So we're here a lot and we forget our comfort zone, right? I think you have to help show people that work in your brand how to be a little disarming and warm, because I think what people forget is young stylists, especially that are new on the floor, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Lori, they feel a little nervous too. So you have like nervous meeting nervous, and then that could be like off to the races.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. So I think training is a big part of it, right? And then helping people to understand that often that's how people come in. They feel like, oh, this is pretty, and like, what are they going to be like? You know, a beauty brand that's a huge beauty brand did a massive deep dive on data about client experience and what was the biggest part of things that they attach to all the way through the service. No surprise, the number one thing that they love the most, not the haircut or the color, even though that's what they come for. It's connection. And what do you think the second thing is? Stab.
The shampoo.
Most relaxing. The shampoo. Totally disarming. Nobody has to talk. Nobody's trying to get information from them. And I thought, oh my God, yeah, hi, of course. Like, everybody just gets a minute to like. So I think it's bringing staff with you and teaching them about a softness, and that even though we are very familiar, maybe the people that are coming in, especially new clients, might not be. The other thing is helping them to see picture at large, right? Maybe this person's coming in with insecurity, fear, and unknown. And that was the number one thing that they were most hesitant to change salons about, the unknown. I was like, okay, makes sense. Because, and they polled like millions and millions of people. Literally, it was like 5 years of data that they combined. It was a huge study, and it blew me away, because I could, you know, when you're in your zone doing something that you love, you tend to not think about what it's like on the other half, right? for the person that's in front of you. And that was huge for me. So training is really big. Sensitivity around pronouns is really big. And I had a huge learning lesson like a year and change ago. It was very hard for me from just a grammar. Really, it was just habitual. But I really had, it takes like cognition to change a pronoun, right? Not that I don't want to, I'm not attached to that. It is habitual. And like, you really have to get very conscious when you are doing that to switch gears, right? And it was such a good eye-opening experience for me. And it was very interesting because I thought, I need to let this individual drive their experience, whether it be with clients, staff, because I think that's their narrative, right? It's not for the owner to discuss because it's personal, right? So I think that's a big part of it, having open communication with everybody so that everybody feels a little less like, oh, I don't know what to do, right? But I
Sounds
think,
a lot like empathy.
yeah, and the individual has to be willing to speak their truth, right?
Yeah.
Because it's their story. And I think that that's huge. You never want anybody to take over your narrative.
That's
ever.
awesome. Yeah.
So, you know, after we did that big JVN event, we had a sign in the window that was about come as you are. And I just loved it so much. I was like, shit, I love that. I was like, I love that. Like, just, you want to be schleppy, no big deal. Like, everybody sits down and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just like exercised and I ran and like I'm sweaty and like I'm dirty. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like, don't worry. Like, I'm not, you like, the goal is to make you feel better when you leave, not before you get here. Like, I think if you're getting ready before you go to your salon, there might be a little issue. I'm just saying. So, but I thought,
But you have another sign in your window.
yeah. Yeah. So after that was done, I was like, I really love You Are Enough. So going back to age for just a minute, right? So I service a demographic that's, you know, scales a little like mid 30s to 80s. And I can't tell you how many times I meet mainly women that are a little bit older that feel insignificant or irrelevant or not heard, or, you know, they don't have this long, thick extension full of hair that's curled and like perfect and right, the Insta look. And I have nothing wrong with that because I think youth is something that should be celebrated, especially because I turn around like, wow, I really let that go. That went too fast. But my point is, I think women and people are beautiful at every age. I also think that everyone holds a beauty for wherever they are in their own sexuality, how they identify, how they want to look. And for me, you know, I feel really fortunate because my mom, I mean, we grew up Catholic, but she was not, that didn't bother her at all. I mean, my uncle's gay. She had grown up, that was her best friend her whole life. Like, I feel very fortunate because those stories weren't as strong growing up for me. So I feel really grateful for that. I also grew up in New Orleans, which is a very wide variety city. And you know, someone to be told you're wonderful feels really good, but to be told you're enough has such a bigger impact to me. And like the U, it has a little heart, YOU. And I was like, we should make that like a rainbow, because like, I'm not just talking about people generically. Like, I'm talking about our community, the community that I love and celebrate, women, age, like it's all where you are, like just be in it. Because at the end of the day, and I know this is such a cliche, but it's all moving so fast to me now. Like literally, I'm like, wow, how's another year over? How is another week gone, a month, like the days are like minutes. So to really be told that you are enough just the way you are, like to say that to your kids, your family, the people you love, shit, it's like, pardon my French, it's so powerful, I think. And so that's what Natasha and I decided to put on the window, because I just think people don't hear it enough, right? Like, you're great, that's awesome, but it's just so slightly generic, right?
It's accepting. It is,
Yeah.
it feels accepting.
All encompassing more.
Yeah. Okay, so for anybody that's watching, any salon owners who want to consciously create a more safe space in their business, what kind of advice would you give them?
Get familiar with your community. Seriously, get familiar with your city. My biggest thing is suspend your story for a minute. And I know that's hard because people have certain beliefs and certain parameters around maybe how they were raised or how they get to the thoughts that they get. I think you have to simply be willing to look and understand these are human beings, right? The minute that you're not in a blame situation and saying like, this is awful, it's not right, it's amoral, all of that. Because at the end of the day, I'm gay, I grew up Catholic, I very much identify with a higher being and a God, and I don't think, for me personally, he's gonna say, can't get in. I think he's gonna look at how I lived versus what I am. Two separate things. So are you all about what you are, or are you all about just being open, right? And you can still have your thoughts and beliefs for yourself, but why do you have to make it about other people? And this is where I think we all get in a big snag these days, right? You can be Lori Blonde, black shirt, that's your belief, and I may say, I don't think that's a black shirt. But I don't have to make it your belief. I don't have to change that. And I think for service owners in salons, getting to know your community makes it human. They're people. We're people, right? At the end of the day, we all come into this world with heartbeats, and like, it's really simple.
So
flesh
just
and blood.
be and get involved.
Get involved and get to know your community, because that makes it real instead of something that you're like way over on the outside pointing or blaming. So I think getting to know your people and training your staff.
Those are
good
advice.
Training them and helping them to understand that it's just people. We're all just people. It's not over there.
No, it's being here and in the moment.
Yep, absolutely.
I like that. So Janet, you mentioned that pronouns in the salon, and Rosie just recently came out with the pronouns available on the client profile cards and through the online client profile cards. But another way to provide inclusiveness in your environment is by your gender neutral pricing. So if you think about it, hair has no gender, skin has no gender, nails have no gender, nor makeup. And everybody, no matter what their gender identity is, has the right to feel beautiful, kind of like what you were saying earlier. So basing your service menu on factors such as things like time or technique or hair length can be more convenient for booking. Plus, it can widen customer base and make your clients feel at ease. And this is why Rosie offers hourly or gender neutral pricing, as well as the pronouns available for salons and managers. So how has technology helped your business be more inclusive?
It's huge, because Rosie, for our salon, right, it gives us so much depth and insight into our business, right? Our back end reporting. But I have to say, for inclusivity and being all encompassing, for us, it's customizing our services, just like you said. We have never based it on men's and women's, right? Maybe when we very first opened, but what became very clear to me, it was based on time and seniority of the individual that you are seeing, right? So a person that has done your job for 30 years versus a person that's just come out of college and done your job, don't you think they're going to have different salary brackets? Okay, so same for a stylist. We look at our industry as a professional industry that is based on education and learning and time put into your craft. So how we customize for individuals is through whatever the service is, product that we're using, and timing. It has nothing to do with your sexual orientation or how you describe yourself or who you relate to. It's not relevant at all. Whether I do a guy's hair this length or this length, it's about the time. It is not about the haircut that I am giving to a certain person or individual and their identification sexually. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Because how many women have we all cut that have pixies?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes no sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big piece. And then also having customizable service descriptions, right? We love being able to build packages around specific names that we can insert and customize and, you know, call it our New York fashion highlight, right? And then that encompasses all of these things. And then it's easier to talk to the client about. But again, it is not based on a sexual preference, right? It is based on the look that you are going for, what you are trying to achieve. So we really love that. And we feel like it's just completely freeing, and it helps us tremendously because it makes it very easy to explain to our clients.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer.
Yep. And it's smart for your business too, for the time.
Yeah,
that you're
absolutely.
taking.
Absolutely. And I think any salon owner that's not just taking a look at service time and product usage as a unit for services rather than the description of the service, it's a game changer, because you are more accurately charging for what is really being provided, not just a half a head of highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because does that have a gloss, a root smudge now? I mean, like, the list is endless now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you going to like wet balayage at the sink? Are you going to like all these things go into the complete look that this particular individual wants? But if you're just doing half head highlights, well, you're missing a ton
Mm-hmm.
of your add-on service, which we all know happens live in the minute for the detail that the individual wants.
Mm-hmm.
For the
It's
complete
easier
look.
to price quote, I would imagine too, right? For your
Yeah.
clients?
Yeah. And you have to really drill down, right, at the desk. You really have to vet the client, because someone that's a foil is not going to be a balayage, and someone that's balayage is not going to be a foil. And they want different finish looks, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So true. So true. All right, Janet. Well,
Well,
thank you
thanks so much, Lori.
for taking the
Yeah,
time to
we
chat
really
with us today
appreciate
around
it.
all of this. And so we do have, we're giving away a complimentary inclusion guide for all of the salons today, or anybody that is
wonderful.
interested. So you can go ahead and just message us on any social media platform, on Facebook, our Facebook community group, our YouTube page, or Instagram, and we will send a guide your way. So thanks,
That's so
Janet,
great.
so much.
Just be kind, and everybody love everybody else. It's
Love.
all we can do.
Love
Thanks,
it.
Lori.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.